You're gonna love drawing Frida. I'm gonna take you step by step through this tutorial. You'll have a total blast.
Kids love this too, so you're gonna want to save and share this. Check this out. We come in with our portrait hack, then we add soft pastels, colored pencils, watercolors, you name it. Say drop down below to get your free mediums guide and swipe right to see the rest of this process step by step and follow along here for more tips and hacks just like.
Okay, so I've secured all my edges down with Cantech painter's tape. I do that because we use a process called paper stretching. And the paper, once it gets wet, gets really, really wobbly. So it stretches out, it expands. And then because your edges are taped down, it will actually suck back in. That's not the right term, but you know what I mean. It will dry really flat. In this process, which is really nice because you can get that like wet stainy watercolor and like under your painting as you're underpainting. And I like to do it really vibrant and really nice and bright. That's my secret there. If you can understand what I'm saying. It's the end of the day and I have 3 kids and my brain is pretty much fried. But we will do a really light and bright and exciting underpainting for this really fun drawing of Frida, and it's going to be a blast. All right, so for this process, the paper stretching process, I like to use a pellet from the Dollarama. And I like, so the cheapest thing to the more expensive thing, the So Flat Golden Acrylics, little pops, because if you use too much acrylic, then it's hard to do your sketch over your painting. So I come at it with like a really loose, big brush. Again, spending the dollars. All these are in my Amazon shop, by the way, and in my bio. But big dollars on the Stahlmeister brushes. I love them. I love them. I'm a muralist as well, and I love using them for that. So wet on wet, and just kind of like dip in, almost close your eyes. It's still wet from the last time the kids did this, and go for it. That's it. Have fun, be loose, dip into some acrylics. So you can't do this process wrong, really, at all. You can get it way too wet and your tape will come off. Keep it nice and light and bright. That is my secret. Kind of play with all the colors and see how they mix and see what happens. Spray it a little even sometimes. It's cool. And I like to go into the lighter zones here. Let's dip into that, like some brightness to it, and saturate it. I would keep it warmer too in like the highlights of the face area that you know you're gonna be drawing skin tones in, because if you get super, super dark, it's hard to see your transfer sketch. Yeah. I'm just gonna come in a little bit with some yellow tones-ish in there, see what happens. I do like this. There's a little bit more blue at the bottom. Make that those other areas pop. Yeah, again, you can't really do this wrong. That's why I love to do it with kids. They have the most fun with it. And they're really, really good at it. So, again, make sure your tape is really secure. And you can dab off any water if you don't like the pooling. I kind of like how the pooling dries accidentally. Happy accidents. Make sure it's secure. You can hair dry it. You can let it air dry for a few. Don't worry, it will get really, really wobbly. Here, I'll take you off the tripod like you're here painting with me tonight. It will get super wobbly. But once it dries, because you've taped down your edges, it will get really flat. And you will be so impressed how cool this is when it dries. It's lots of fun. So let me know how it goes. Can't wait to see what you create. We teach this full method just want it a little bit brighter. We teach this full method in my portrait class, step by step, how to do everything. Great for classrooms, great for kids, great for professional artists. Haven't come across a person who hated it. So that's pretty good out of thousands of people, I think. Not even one unhappy customer, so you'll love it too. It's drying and I know already that it's going to be super gorgeous in this area that I want to put the portrait. I always think about when I'm painting that underpainting, the composition and the positioning of the portrait, and like imagining what colors are going to fall behind and what patterns I'm going to use and what theme like speaks to the portrait of the person. Especially in, obviously I do a lot of portraits and commissioned work, so you always want the person's spirit captured in their portrait. So I'm very excited about this one. I had the inspiration to just draw her again, and I'm excited for you too as well. She's a very passionate, amazing female with an interesting history. So I can't wait to see which photo of her you pick and what you create. So send it our way. And see, after I let it sit, or you can use a hairdryer, it gets really nice and flat, like so gorgeous. And all those stains that you let just sit there, like they're pretty magical looking, and ready for our sketch, which then when you do this, like it has a really expressive and colorful beginning, and it takes away that pressure of building up tone in your background, and it has that like happy accident. So even when you just do your sketch, it will turn out really, really beautifully using this process that we teach everything step by step in our portrait class. I know you're only getting a little tiny glimpse at it here, but it's so much fun, and it's fun to do on your own or with kids or in a classroom or a group. So, okay, so the exciting part is going to happen. We've got our super flat underpainting, really gorgeous, and then we are going to transfer our really cool photo of Frida. The first little mark. So when you're sketching, be sure to let up a little bit on your pencil, and you can push a little harder or go over an area twice to get that harder, darker line. It'll make your sketch have more depth, more life, and you'll look like a professional. That's a little trick. As well as for these darker shaded areas, again, press harder, turn your tool to the side. There we go. We teach all this in our portrait class, step by step. So my sketch is coming along really nicely. And pay attention when you're sketching, especially when drawing eyes in different areas like that. A lot of people just go, almond. And it's very much not an almond. As you can see, there's like highlights there. There's some lines and shadows here. You're always going to find that little goober area with a highlight in it. Eyeballs are slightly shaded. They're not just white. So you press it really lightly. And then in these darker, do not draw the eyelashes. Definitely, that kind of makes it look like there's a almond with a spider-shaped almond. So really pay attention to what things look like. Your brain really knows, but make sure you're drawing what you're actually seeing in the photograph. And then after you have your transfer down, you come in with colored pencils, definitely not graphite. You can get our free mediums guide by saying art below, and we tell you what mediums to avoid and what our favorite mediums are. It is free, check that out. But we love mixing media, obviously. I'm sharing this process with you. And yeah, make sure you have all your shadows down. And same as with your graphite over top of your transfer, same rules apply, like press harder in some areas with your tip and lighten up, and same with shading as you turn your tool to the side, and in those darker shaded areas go over them or press harder and then let up on your tool to get that lighter. Now one of my favorite mediums, which again you can get our free mediums guide by saying art below, is these Prismacolor colored pencils. Big mouthful there. You can get like the Scholar ones are good enough, but colored pencils, Prismacolor, having them makes a huge difference in making any sort of art. They're highly pigmented. They don't cloud over as easy. They're just like rich with color and vibrance, and that's really, really important. So it's something you don't want to skimp on. We have them in our Amazon shop in our bio. Definitely get them. You can use them in your sketchbook. You can use them in your drawings. You can use them. Sometimes I even use them on canvas for making large scale pieces in the initial sketch and some like details and stuff. I love. And remember to be always referencing your photo while you're sketching. Again, your brain will take over and be like, oh, I know what's happening. I know what faces look like. So I like to start, actually, so I like to go with colored pencils. What's up, buddy?
I can't find any.
Well, keep searching. Usually when I'm looking for something, I start cleaning up and then it pops up. So instead of using white, I want you to think about blues and pinks and almost exaggerate what you're seeing, and like warm browns and oranges to create your face. I haven't drawn with soft pastels a portrait in a really long time. We really go over that in portrait class and some cool work comes out of it. I'm using a really nice, expensive soft pastel. So again, something that you might want to, or oil works as well. I usually use oil these days, but this is really fun. So now I am just working on all those pastel layers within her portrait, and as well as the florals, which I kind of sketched out and made a little bit different than this, but I'm gonna work more into them and build them up with soft pastels. The great thing about soft pastels is that you can really, this is my really neat little bin, but you can layer, and if you don't like something, you can either layer on top of it or just erase it away. So you never have to be too precious about anything, and they're super, super rich. And one of my favorite things about them is that you can literally, like, if you can carve back into them with your colored pencils. And we go over all of this and how to. And now, because I'm the mixed media queen, I love mixing media, I'm just gonna throw in a oil pastel as well. I love the richness of oils, and I'm in like this crazy stage in my life with my kids, and oil paint is like a hard one. It's a tough one to take your time with, but yeah, I love mixing it up with different textures, etc. So I'm just gonna play with oil pastels in the hair because they're rich and I can layer them and they'll pop. Soft pastels here I have, and I'm gonna add some oils as well.